Good. So, and as I said in the email, you will want to have a couple of blocks nearby, just in case. And or if you don't have blocks, you could use thick books. I like to have a pillow. We are going to start off seated, so you might want to start seated on a cushion. It's up to you whether you want to have your video on or off. I like to give you that option. I just ask that you keep yourself muted to avoid any background noise. And if you do want to start playing some music, just hit play on that now. I love to have music in the background. So either you could play my playlist that I sent or whatever feels nice for you. So today's practice is going to be a full body grounding practice with the intent of just feeling good and exploring your body, moving in a variety of ways. And I really encourage you to listen to your body above me. So if something doesn't feel right for you, I try to give a lot of modifications. And but if something's not feeling right, please don't do it. Do something else. And yeah, and then catch up when it feels right. So let's start with a breathing exercise. So once you're in your seated position, either soften your gaze or close your eyes if that feels safe to do so. And just start to tune in with your breath, with the inhales coming into your nostrils and out of your nostrils. Feel that breath coming through your nostrils and down into your body. And feel that breath exiting your body and your nose. Just doing that a couple more times, bringing yourself into this present moment. And we're going to do what's called box breathing or square breath. And I'll guide you through it. We'll inhale for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, exhale the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and continue. I'll walk you through 3, and then I'll encourage you to do 3 of your own. So take a full inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, and continue on your own. You can continue that breathing or just find a nice neutral breath as I read you a poem to begin your practice. So your practice doesn't expect you to show up happy. It asks that you be present. It doesn't mind if you are put together or if you are a mess. You can arrive with a jumbled mind and a heavy heart. Your practice couldn't care less if you can touch your toes or meditate for hours. It asks simply that you show up. So congratulations for showing up for yourself. And let's start to invite in some movement. Again, if you're sitting on a cushion, you could keep that there. With our hands at our side, on your next inhale, inhaling your hands up to the sky, maybe your fingertips touch or not. And exhale, bringing your hands down to your side. Maybe your fingertips touch the ground or not. Depends how your shoulders are feeling. Inhaling back up and exhaling back down. Do it a couple more times. Inhaling up, maybe looking up, stretching the front of your throat, exhaling down. And one more time, inhaling up, maybe a big look up, lifting that chin, and exhale down. Tuck your chin in, feel a stretch through the back of your neck. Lovely, and relax that down. Beautiful. So let's inhale one more time, back up, and this time clasp your hands. Exhale, and then inhale, extend your hands up, and exhale your hands out front. Now bring your palms to face you and then round forward, feeling your arms lengthening. Take a big inhale here. And exhale, release your hands, lift your chest back to a neutral stance, arms out to the side, this goalpost arms. Take a big breath here. And exhale, extend your hands out to the side. Palms are facing the walls to the side. Feel the heels of your palms expanding out, lengthening your whole arms and wrists. Take a big breath. And exhale, bring your hands behind you. Maybe clasp your hands or just your elbows, or rest your hands on your low back. As you inhale, your clasped hands maybe reach up a bit, lifting your heart. And exhale, unclasp your hands. Inhale one more time, bringing your hands up to the ceiling. And exhale, going over to one side. Inhaling back to center and exhaling to the other side. Good morning, Corinne. Glad you could make it. Inhale to center and exhale back to center. I'm just doing a couple little shoulder rolls here. Good. So I like to create some balance. So whichever leg is out front in this seated position, let's bring the other leg out front, just to get some balance in the hips. Beautiful. Let's continue to move and a little more side to side action. So bringing one hand up and over, maybe that opposite hand touches the ground as you reach over. Inhaling back up and then exhaling over to the other side. Inhaling up and exhaling over. So feel free to find a rhythm that works with your breath. Don't feel you have to follow my breath. So just flowing side to side. And as that one arm comes up, you might find the buttock wants to reach up. So see if you could reach it, push it down. And that might mean you don't go as deep, and that's okay. It'll make it a little more full side body. So just thinking of that glute staying in towards grounding into the earth. So the next time that you are on one side, let's just pause and hold here, reaching and lengthening through that stretch, and breathe through that side body. Now bend the elbow of that upper arm and lift your heart and slightly look up. That elbow slightly comes behind you. And on your next exhale, rounding forward a bit, now that elbow comes towards the front and you're looking down towards the ground. And let's do that one more time. So inhale as you open and exhale as you close. I lied. Let's do it one more. I like the number 3. Inhale, open, and it gives us more time to get it into our body. Exhaling forward. We're inhaling back up and exhaling over to the other side. And let's hold for a few breaths here. Again, continue to root that buttock into the cushion or the mat as you lengthen through that side body and hand. On your next inhale, bending that elbow, lifting your heart, slightly looking up, elbow comes slightly back. And on your next exhale, you're rounding forward a little bit. Good, and let's move with our breath. So inhaling open, exhaling downward. Inhaling open, getting curious about our movements and how it feels to move in our body. And on your next inhale, bringing yourself back all the way up. Good. Excellent. Let's do one more here. Inhaling our hands up and exhale, rotating to the right. So your right hand comes to the back, left hand may touch the outside of your right knee and give it a little twist. On your next inhaling, coming back to center, hands up, and exhale, twist to the left. Inhaling up, exhale, twist right. Looking back if that's okay for your neck. Inhaling up and exhale left. One more time and we'll hold a little longer on each side. So we're inhaling up and exhaling right. On your next inhale, think lengthening through the crown of your head as you're holding this twist. And exhale, maybe you can deepen the twist a little bit more. Being gentle with yourself. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, deepening the twist. On your next inhale, hands come up. Exhale, twist to the left. Hold as you inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen your twist. These are small, minimal movements. Inhale, lengthen that spine, crown of the head reaches up. Exhale, 5% more. One more time. On your next inhale, hands come all the way up. And exhaling back down. Good. I'm going to remove the cushion that I'm on right now, so you might want to do so as well, as we're going to extend our legs out. I'm moving back so you can see my feet. And again, I'll mirror you. So thinking of your right foot, you might want to have your hands behind you as guides. Drag that right foot in and then allow that right knee to open to the side, bending it back up and out. Oh, I wanted to do toe scrunches first. So let's do that before we continue. So scrunch your toes and then spread your toes. Scrunch your toes and spread. We'll do that one more time, and it's normal to get cramping. If these muscles are tight, if this is a new movement, you can experience muscle cramping. It's completely normal. Just wiggle it out when that happens. All right, so now when we're ready, let's drag that right heel, open that right knee, and bring that right knee back up, and drag that heel back out. Good. More. Do that again. Lift, open, maybe a little deeper this time. Open and out. Lift, and this time we're going to leave that leg there. It could stay on the inside. If you want to deepen, you could always cross it over. Wherever you are, give that knee a hug with your opposite arm and keeping that right hand behind you, and then twist again to the right. Noticing maybe you can get a little more spaciousness this time. And breathe as you hold. Inhale, lengthening that spine. Use your exhales to deepen your twist. And when you're ready, coming back to center and extend that leg back out. Maybe wiggles. Let's do that on the other side. So with your left foot, first the toes. So crunch the toes and then spread the foot and the toes. Scrunch the toes and spread. One more time, scrunch. Breathing as you do this. Hi, Corinne. And we can release that, wiggle out any cramps. And let's do that for the left leg. So dragging that left heel in and open that left knee out to whatever extent feels good for you, coming back and out. Warming up the hips a little bit more. And maybe you want to give it a little gentle push down to help warm up the hip a little bit more. And extend out. One more full range of motion. Opening, back up, and out. And this time, as we drag that foot in, we're going to lift our spine up so that we could clasp. Again, maybe you want to cross if you need more. And then start to go into your twist. That left hand is there as a guide. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, deepening your twist. Lovely. And start to unwind. And then take that left leg and leave it kind of bent on the floor, coming onto that side as you bring that right leg back around. We're coming into deer pose or mermaid leg. So mermaid is more 45-degree and your foot and thigh may touch, or going to more 90-degree, which is considered deer pose, or somewhere in between. So just allow your hips to tell you what's best. Excellent. Once you're settled in there, let's do a couple of rotations. So we're taking that opposite hand and we're just rotating it towards the ground and then to behind your body. So inhaling one direction, and again, maybe you touch the ground or maybe not, and exhaling the opposite direction. Again, if you have really tight hips, you may not be able to reach the ground, and that's totally okay. Just enjoying moving and exploring your body in a variety of ranges of motion. And check in if you're holding tension. Check in with your jaw, your shoulders, your toes, the typical area you may hold tension. Beautiful. And then bring yourself up. And we're going to float over. So you might want your hands behind you as guides. You might want to challenge yourself and see if you can switch over to the other side. Those of you that have been doing this with me for a while, yeah, we've played around with that. But if that's new, then use the guidance. Each side can be very different. So settle in first. Let your hips tell you what feels good. And then one hand is going to come to the ground and the other hand is going to reach up and over towards the front and up and over towards the back. Inhaling one direction and exhaling the other. And just start to notice how the hips are feeling in this position. And not just the hips, because we are maneuvering our spine here. So thinking of your spine, where do you sense the sticky spot? If you sense sticky spots, can you see if you can allow some movement? Because we want our whole spine to be moving. And bringing ourselves back up. Good. Keep that front leg, so that's going to be your right leg, and extend your left leg out. Getting settled there. And then we're going to come lift that opposite hand and just give a nice little side body stretch. Hold for one more breath here. And on your exhale, bringing that hand down to the ground. And we're going to lift ourselves up. Now, the opposite hand can lift up, and you might start to move that foot kind of in line with your hip. So that left and I suggest having that left foot flexed. Inhaling, lifting yourself up, and just hold here for a couple of breaths. If you want a little more challenge, you might want to come all the way up on your knee and extend that left leg out. Or maybe you're here, or maybe you're here. So be where it feels best for you. Take one more breath. If you have raised up, gently lower that hip back down to the ground, bringing yourself up, bending that knee in, using guidance if it's needed, and let's switch sides. Beautiful. So now the right leg is out, left leg comes in, and let's go over that right leg first. So left hand up and over. Just pause here for a breath. And on your next exhale, bringing that hand down to the ground. Opposite hand comes up. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you glide that right heel to be in line with the hip. Flex that foot. And then staying here or lifting up. Or lifting up further again, you'll probably need to bring that right hand closer in front of your knee. Sorry, left hand. And lift. Wherever you are, hold for one more breath. If you did come up, you might want to start by putting your foot down first and then your bottom. And then bending both knees out in front, we're going to make our way into tabletop position. So come to your hands and your knees, just wiggle that out, doing like a little tail wag. So you might look to one hip and then the other. If that makes you dizzy, you can keep your head straight and just think of wiggling your bottom, whatever feels good. And then come to stillness, and let's do a couple cat-cows. So tuck your pelvis under, like if you had a tail, you're feeling shameful, and then push that ground away. That upper back is going towards the ceiling. Your head comes down. Now lift that tailbone up. If you have a tail, it's like you're getting happy, and your chest is going down and head is coming up. So leading with the pelvis each time, but tucking that tailbone and then moving through your spine, head goes down last. And then let that tailbone come up, going through the spine, head comes up last. So now that you've got that in your body, just flow through it at a pace that feels good to you. I always like to ask you not to rush too much because I really want you to connect with your spine and move each vertebrae as best you can. So imagine your spine and making space within each vertebrae as you're moving. We're trying to, again, encourage those sticky spots to move. Those spots in our spine because our spine is meant to move, but our modern lifestyle has certain parts of our spine that don't move as well. So we're trying to encourage it to all move. When you're ready, bringing yourself into a neutral position, and let's come into child's pose for a moment. I like to do a wide-legged one, making space for my belly and then walking the hands forward, but do whatever feels nice for you. And come as deep as feels good. You could always put a cushion underneath your pelvis if you need to raise up a little bit more, especially if your knees don't like this. Take one breath here. And then coming forward again, if you did widen your knees, maybe bringing back to hip distance apart, we're going to come forward into like a kneeling plank. And then exhaling back into not a full child's pose, just kind of a partial child's pose. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Now you may want to stay with this. If you want more of a challenge, you could tuck your toes and coming into a full plank. And then you're exhaling into downward dog. So choose which feels best for you and depends on where you're at today and what you're wanting to challenge yourself with or not. Wherever you are at, doing one more, ending in your child's pose or downward dog, and just pause there for a breath. If you are in child's pose, tuck your toes and lift your tailbone up towards downward dog, and let's all walk our hands to our feet or feet to our hands and pause in a forward fold. So this is where, again, a block can come in handy to bring that ground up a little bit higher. So you might want to place your hands on a block. You can also use, something nearby, a chair or something if that's available. And let's just nod our head yes and no. Release the neck, release the jaw, release the shoulders. Really root your heels into the ground, feeling the backs of your legs warming up. From here, let's all bend our knees and then push that ground away and straighten. So we're staying in our forward fold and we're bending the knees and we're straightening. Again, we're just trying to warm up the backs of our legs a little bit more and our ankles. Nice for our ankles. So bending and straightening. So again, you could have something, your hands a little higher if that's needed. Beautiful. We're going to bring ourselves up, but come up slowly. So keep your chin tucked in, and we're going to roll ourselves up so our head comes up flat. Rolling up nice and slow. Head comes up last because we have been on the ground a while. So want to come up slow and just pause there for a moment, making sure you're feeling okay, especially since we had our head below our heart. That's, yeah, sometimes you can get dizzy. All right, so just pause in your mountain pose, making sure that you're feeling solid. So mountain pose, feet hip distance apart. I often like to do the walk, walk, walk to see where my feet land. Hips are in line with the ankles. Lift your shoulders, roll them back, and land them down over to your hips. Tuck your chin in slightly, crown of the head up to the sky, feeling lengthening happening through your body. Beautiful. Let's take a couple breaths here in this stance. Think of your navel towards the spine. Think of your lower ribs reaching towards your pelvic bone. Soften your knees. And let's take a breath here. Inhaling your hands up like we did at the beginning. Maybe they touch. And exhaling them down to the side. Inhaling the hands up. Exhaling down. Do that one more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Beautiful. Let's take a little bit of a wider stance. Now, not full wide, just a little bit wider. And loosen things up. Lovely. Now let's do knocking on the door of life. So this is where we're just twisting. So I want you to feel a little lighter. So with mountain pose, it's a great way to feel strong and powerful in your body. This is a lovely pose to just soften into the present moment. Feel free. Let go of your worries. Again, this is really nice for our spine. We're stimulating our kidneys, which is great for our nervous system. So one hand is tapping our low back, the other is tapping the front of our lower abdomen. Now that front hand that's tapping the front lower abdomen is now going to tap the shoulder with a gentle little fist. So one is tapping the low back, one is tapping the opposite shoulder. Don't overthink it. Even just let your body flow and feel good. Now, whatever hand is tapping your shoulder, chest, your chest, now it's going to tap the shoulder. Sorry, I was saying shoulder and I meant to say chest. Now we're using a cupped hand and we're tapping our shoulder. And just think about releasing the tension from these tight shoulders. Now we're going to take that hand back down to the chest and then both back down to the lower body. And then have your hands go away from your body, spread your fingers wide, and start to slow it down. Feel the air going through your fingertips and slow it all the way down till you come back to center. And just pause and notice how you're feeling. Beautiful. Let's do a little bit for our balance. So bringing your feet back to hip distance apart. Again, maybe do that walk, walk, walk. See where they land. On our inhale this time, we are going to lift our heels to come up on your toes and exhale back down. So that first one's most challenging. So find that focal point, that drishti to stare at. Inhaling, lifting the heels. Exhaling with control, slowly lower all the way down. Do that again. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, lower. Let's do one more. Wiggle the jaw. If you're a jaw clencher, this is one that we start to tend to clench. Beautiful. Keeping our arms doing that, we are going to lift the right knee up, point the toe, and then lower that down. So again, continue to have that focal point. This time, inhale, lift the left knee out in front, and exhale down. So feel all the corners of the standing foot rooted into the ground. The opposite knee comes up, point that toe, exhale down. Inhaling up, point the toe. So we're getting a stretch through the front of the shin and ankle as well. Do one more time each side. Inhaling up, again, wiggle the jaw in case you're clenching. Maybe wiggle out your shoulders. That's another part in these poses. We start to really tense up. Relax your shoulders as best you can, and then relax. Wiggle that out. Good. Once again, let's take our feet just a little bit wider. And we're going to do another little twisting action. So one hand goes out front, reaches out front, and the opposite hand is reaching behind us and looking behind towards that back hand. And then coming to center, and then switching hands. Other hand goes out front, opposite hand goes other direction, and center. And once you get that into the body, again, you're finding a flow and rhythm that works for your breath. So I like to exhale as I go into the twist and inhale as I come to center. But again, do what works for you. I also like to do a little kind of bending of the knees as I come through center. And then I kind of squat down and each kind of honoring each little movement. So again, that's kind of what my body does, but check out what your body is doing. Finding a flow and rhythm that works and feels good in your body. Doing a couple more of these, maybe deepening the stretch and the reach with each one. Ending on the opposite side that you began, and then coming to center. And wiggle out the shoulders. We're going to do that again, but this time the hand that's reaching out front, I want the palm up, and we're going to kind of lift the pinky finger up towards the ceiling. So we're getting an external rotation of the shoulder. So that hand comes out, palm up. Now give a little reach while that other hand does the same, like as it did last time, and then come to center. And then the other hand palm up, give a bit of a pinky reach and center. Beautiful. So it's like you're serving something, although I guess it would fall if you're serving something. So serving, and then they take it. Oh. And again, finding a rhythm and flow for your breath. And notice thinking now of your shoulders, getting this external rotation. So we'll do one more each side and just ending with the opposite side that you began. And coming back to center and wiggle that out. Good. So now let's take an even wider stance with our toes pointed on an angle. Let's give a little wiggle for our hips. Again, thinking as if you had a tail and you're feeling happy. Lovely. I love doing this. It's such a nice way to just, release some stress in the hips. Good. Okay, so come to stillness. Inhaling your hands up. So now it's like we're making this star position. So take an exhale here. Now inhale, feel yourself lengthening. And as you exhale, bend your knees, squatting as if you're about to sit into a chair, and bend your elbows into like a goddess arms or goalpost arms. So we're going to inhale, extend, and exhale. Let's kind of tucking that tailbone in ever so slightly. We're on a nice neutral pelvis. Inhale, lengthen. Also think about tucking your chin. Crown of the head is up towards the sky, keeping your spine in a erect position. Let's do one more. Inhaling and exhale. Let's hold this one for a full breath. Full inhale and exhale. And then inhale up. And this time we're going to start to do circles. So you can leave your legs straight, but with just a softness in the knees. And you're going to come down towards one side, circling through to the other side. Let's do that the opposite direction. So hands come down through and around and up. And going side to side. So again, maybe you stay a little more upright and you're up here. That's great. Maybe you want to bend your knees and really get deep. So again, listen to your body, do what feels good to you, or maybe you want to do a big stretch, keeping your legs straight, but reaching for the ground. Yogi's choice. Let's do one more each direction, maybe combining a few and trying different ones out. And making our way up and exhaling our hands down. Once again, let's bend into those knees. So tailbone is kind of reaching towards the ground, placing your hands on your thighs, and now leaning forward. Beautiful. Root those heels into the ground and then send one shoulder towards one knee, getting a nice stretch there, maybe looking away, coming to center, and then switching sides, reaching opposite shoulder to opposite knee and center. And then just going side to side a couple of times. And the next time that you are at the side you began, just pause and hold that for a full breath. Wiggle your toes, you're not clenching, coming to center and opposite side for a full breath. And then center, straightening your legs, bringing your torso back up and clasping your hands behind you, or maybe just resting your hands on your low back if it's not available for your shoulders to clasp your hands. Inhale your chest up and exhale coming forward. You could also put your hands on your hips and come forward if that feels better. And just enjoy a wide-legged forward fold. By all means, you could also always have your hands on a block or in a chair if that feels better. We're going to come up. Let's lead with our heart. Lead with your chest, lifting yourself back up. If your hands are clasped, unclasping your hands and heel toe your feet back to center and wiggle that out. Good. So we're going to slowly start to make our way back down to the ground. So you might want to face the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart. And let's inhale our hands up and exhale, swan dive forward. Again, maybe you want to have a block there or something. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, look forward, making a flat back. And exhale, forward fold. And I'll show with the block. Inhaling all the way back up. Hands maybe come to prayer. And exhaling, swan diving forward. Maybe hands come to a block. Inhale, hands to shin, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling all the way up, really push that ground away to bring yourself back up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and pause in your favorite forward fold, whatever feels good here. So options, nod your head yes and no. Another option is to clasp your elbows and sway side to side, or let your hands dangle. You could also have your knees really generously bent. Take another couple soothing breaths here. When you're ready, generously bend into your knees, safely make your way onto all fours. And let's do a little stretch for our feet. So tuck your toes and let some weight of your bottoms come towards your heels, and your hands could stay on the ground or again, maybe blocks. And this might be enough for your feet. If it's available to you, you could put more weight on your feet and lift your torso up. This is tough. Breathe into your feet. Take breaks if you need to. We're going to hold for 3 more breaths. Use your breath. Use your breath as a distraction. Take one more where you are at. If you're not already, bringing your hands down to your ground, putting weight back towards your hands, untucking your toes, and maybe give them a little tap out. And let's stretch out the front of the feet. So we're going to bring our buttocks onto our heels again. You could always have hands on blocks if you need to bring the ground up more. And you can start to kind of lean back a little bit and lift. So our thighs are more together. They don't have to touch. Your thighs might be further apart. And we're just leaning back and lifting those knees. If this is not good for you, you could do it manually by just stretching with your other hand, stretching the front of your feet. We're wanting a nice stretch through the whole top of the foot. Wherever you are at, breathing in to that stretch for 2 more breaths. And lowering yourself back down or letting go of your feet. Lovely. Let's come back into child's pose. So again, maybe you want a prop like a block or a pillow underneath. So you could even just place it underneath your pelvis, like sitting on it, because that can help take pressure off your knees if that's needed. And just make your way into your child's pose and just soften and surrender into it. Holding here for about 5 breaths in total. Slowing everything down, coming into our stretch portion. Lifting up your head, walking your hands over to the left, root your palms into the ground, and then once again, lower your forehead towards the ground. It does not have to touch. Really root that right hand into the ground and think of that right buttock or that right hip going the opposite direction. Feeling this lengthening through the right side. Lifting yourself up and walking your hands through center and over to the right, rooting palms down, lowering head towards floor, and give an extra little rooting down of that left hand, and then send that left buttock and left hip opposite direction. Lifting your head, releasing that push, walking your hands back through center, and then walk your hands towards your body, coming onto one side, and then swinging your legs around, and you can make your way onto your back. So take your time to get onto your back. And again, have props nearby. So you might have your pillow and your block nearby in case you need them. Beautiful. So for just a moment, just pause. And then pulling your right knee in towards your chest. You might be here, maybe you could clasp behind the knee or on top of the shin. And just pulling that towards your chest. Your left leg, maybe it feels okay to extend that leg, but if you get any pinching in your low back, just rebend that left knee. And hold for a couple of more breaths. Slowing everything down. And then take that left hand to the outside of that right knee and start to oh, sorry, if your left leg is straight, you will want to if your left leg is bent, you'll want to straighten it first so that you can cross that right leg over. And this is where, again, maybe a pillow or a block comes in handy, and you could allow that right knee to find it if that's needed. See if you can extend your right arm out behind you, trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. If that's not available to you, bend your right hand and place it on your ribs. Because if your right shoulder is really lifting off, then bending that right hand and resting on your ribs will help. Taking a couple more soothing breaths here. And then bringing yourself back to center, can lower that foot to the ground. And then allow that right knee to open up to the side, doing half butterfly. So again, maybe you want to put a block or a pillow underneath that right knee if that right hip is really talking to you. Or if you find that left hip really rises up, that's a good indication that you need a prop underneath that right knee. So we want that left buttock to stay on the ground. And when you're ready, you could even use your hand as a guide to bring that knee back up. Let's do one more here and extend that right knee. And you might need to bend that left knee. Extend that right knee up, flex that foot, heel towards the sky. Maybe you could clasp behind that right leg. Let's just stretch out the back of the leg. Maybe you pull it in closer, You could also do a point and flex if that feels nice, exploring, or circle. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Take one more full breath here and slowly lower that right foot back down to the ground. And let's do that for the left. So pulling your left knee towards your chest, maybe clasping your hands somewhere, maybe extending that right leg and soften into it. There's no right or wrong in these stretches, particularly. It's really about listening to your body and feeling good. I am simply guiding you with some suggestions. Now we'll take that right hand to the outside of the left leg. If your right knee is bent, straighten it so that you can allow that left leg to fall over, maybe finding a prop underneath that knee, extending that left arm out, seeing if you could have that left shoulder on the ground. If not, that left hand is resting on your ribs. So we're feeling a nice lengthening stretch through that left outer hip. Twists are always nice for the spine as well, though. Take one more big inhale and exhaling back to center, lowering that foot down first and then allowing that left knee to come out to the side. And again, maybe having a prop underneath. Sometimes for this position, I like to place my hands on my hips just to help feel grounded. Also, if your low back is speaking to you, that's another indication that you will need a prop under your left knee and maybe even underneath your right knee. Take one more breath here and lift that left knee up. And let's do that hamstring stretch. So left heel up towards the ceiling. Start with lengthening through that heel. You can continue that or maybe point and flex, circles, or just soft foot and pull. Let's take one more big inhale and exhale, bend your knee and lower that foot down. Good. We're going to make our way into our final resting position. So this is maybe where you want to put a pillow under your head. And this is where I said maybe an optional blanket. So if you want, you maybe want to put a blanket over top of you. Take your time to get really comfortable. Oh, it could also feel really nice to put a pillow underneath your knees as well, especially if you're one to have tightness in your low back. So get really comfortable and find a comfortable placement of your hands. So you may want to bring your hands on your body, one hand on your near your belly, one near your heart, or maybe just resting at your side. Your shoulders will decide whether palms up or palms down. Just taking your time to settle in. I'm sitting up just as I'm going to guide you through a full body relaxing release. So let's take a big inhale and an open mouth exhale here. Let any last bit of tension in your body. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and sigh it out. Let that exhale ground you and just relax into this position, finding a nice neutral breath and bringing awareness to your face. Feel the muscles in your face soften and relax. The back of the head resting on the cushion or the mat, trusting that the support has got you. Moving down through the back of your neck and your throat, relaxing these areas. Moving down through your shoulders, the front and the back and sides of the shoulders. Melting the tension away as you move down your arms into your hands. Your whole arms relax. Back to your chest and upper back. Feeling the breath coming in and out of your lungs. Feeling completely relaxed. Moving down and softening your belly. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly with your breath. Feeling your whole upper body soft and relaxed. Feeling your buttocks, your hips, your pelvis relax. Moving down both legs into your feet. Soften and relax from head to toe. Just take a little bit of time in silence here. And start to invite in gentle movement, maybe nodding your head side to side, wiggling fingers and toes, arms and legs. Maybe taking your hands above you and giving a big morning stretch. And maybe bending your knees and coming to your favorite side. And perhaps pausing there for a breath or two. In your own time, at your own pace, slowly make your way to a seated position. And we'll take a final community breath here together with our hands at our side, inhaling our hands up and pull the beautiful energy around you into your body. And let's do that one more time to completion. Inhale to prayer hands, pull your prayer hands into your heart, rounding forward to seal in your practice. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for joining me today.